Summer has come to an end, and I'm just not ready to let go yet. I know people love the fall, but I want to talk real quick about the summer, and specifically summer slasher films. Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's your old pal here, Chris, here at Figure Out Films, and I'm so excited to be back to talk about some slasher movies. Now, anybody who knows me, I love the horror genre. I love slasher movies, but this past summer, I just found myself visiting a lot more slashers than usual, and I got some I want to talk about today. I gotta ask, where are my cinephiles at? Where are my cinephiles that love the slasher movies? I just appreciate all the support that we've been getting on this channel. I'm back to make more videos, so please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video. Don't forget to tap in on the discussions on the community page, and if you are new, please consider hitting that subscribe button so I can be that movie person for you. We're close to 1,000. That is the goal. Let's see if we can make it before the end of this year. Like I said earlier, though, the slasher genre is one of my favorites. You get so many icons of horror. But what about some of those movies that don't have someone with a mask chasing people around with a machete? What about some of those ones that take place not only on Elm Street, but also in the woods and camping? And, you know, the 1980s is perfect for the slashers. And honestly, I know it's already September and people are ready for fall and spooky season, and I get it, but let's just end summer right. I haven't seen a lot of discussion about summer slasher movies that are outside the franchise mass horror. Let's send off summer properly by giving 5 of some of my favorite slasher movies and 5 that I recommend you check out if you still want to squeeze a little bit more of summer before you get to the fall. Now, the first one on this list is actually a first time watch for me, and I'm so glad I checked it out before this list because it's just amazing. It's just a great time. This is a movie called The Final Exam, and if you remember the nostalgic days of right before summer vacation, finishing up your last classes of college or in high school or whatever, and you're just itching to get out of class so you can go out there and enjoy your summer, check out Final Exam. And the reason I say this is one of those strange slashers where you don't need a lot of killing in the beginning to get you roped in on this movie. Why I like The Final Exam, and honestly I probably would say I love this movie, is because it's an hour and a half long, 94 minutes, and the killing doesn't start until the hour mark almost, about 45, 50 minutes in, which is strange for slasher movies of the time. But in this one, it works perfectly because I just really enjoy hanging out with these characters. It takes place on a college campus. It looks like a community college of sort, yet there's also a fraternity. And everyone's just trying to survive the last couple days of the semester before they go off to do whatever for the summer. And lo and behold, there is an unknown killer on the loose. And before we even get to that, there's so many hijinks. I would say the real killer of this movie are the frat guys in this movie. I'm talking about Wildman and a few other characters here where they stage a insanely absurd attempt to get out of taking their finals and cheating on them as well. You have to watch this movie to find out. But what I also love about this movie, besides the hanging out with the characters, I particularly love Radish, the character in this movie. Gosh, I love Radish, played by Joel Rice. Great character, but the killer is really fascinating, and the ending to this movie will have you wondering and guessing, and honestly, you're wasting your time because this movie's all about the ride, and I love this ride, and I hope you do too. So check out Final Exam. I know it's kind of funny because school's starting out for a lot of people, but maybe check this one out before. The next movie on the list, it's getting a little chilly, but it's still the perfect time for this: camping. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with camping. I sometimes like it and sometimes I don't. It really depends. But what I do like are campers going out, trying to have a good time, and there's a killer on the loose. So I had to throw in Just Before Dawn. I've talked about this movie before on the channel, but Just Before Dawn, this is a Code Red Blu-ray release. This came out in 1981 as well. And honestly, this is an underrated slasher movie. It has a crazy twist ending. It's got a creepy vibe to it. The score is actually done by Brad Fiedel, I believe, who did the Terminator score as well. Went ahead and did this. The score is super creepy. There's some omnipotent whistling that's going through the movie at times, and it's out in the wilderness, so obviously that's going to be scary. But there's a killer on the loose, a big giant man, and it's just creepy. It kind of gives Wrong Turn vibes at times. And it's a very meticulous slasher movie. For those of you who liked In a Violent Nature, I would give this a chance too. Though we don't get as much POV scenes as we do as In a Violent Nature, I feel like they have a very similar vibe in that the campers are kind of just enjoying themselves and then realize that there is a killer on the loose. It also has some mix of cabin fever as well, which I also do enjoy. Just Before Dawn is one of those sweet slasher movies that gets fallen under the cracks because the killer does not have a mask or says anything iconic, which is totally fine. And I think you should check this out and give it its flowers, because this is a truly great slasher movie. And I think the environment just plays so well into it. It's just incredible when you watch this movie, like the actors that were going into portraying this movie, and it feels almost real in some aspects. I really enjoy this movie. It still stands with me, and I really want people to watch this and talk about it because it is such a great slasher movie. So check out Just Before Dawn. Coming up next is a movie if you love... Oh, hold on. I gotta focus. I'm in my slasher talking moment right now. I'm talking about, of course, about George Costanza in a slasher movie. If I have your interest already, I am talking about The Burning. The Burning. This is an Arrow release. However, you can get a Scream Factory that is on a new 4K. This movie came out in 1980. I would say starring Jason Alexander, also known as George Costanza from Seinfeld. Very young in this movie, does a great job being one of the campers in this movie. So basically a bunch of campers are out, and then there is a legend of a killer who previous campers killed by accident, and now he's enacting his revenge on anyone who comes into the forest. Truly fun, enjoyable movie. The slashing and some of the horror aspects are genuinely creepy and well done. You get a Tom Savini magical gory effects in this movie. And honestly, yes, it's by the Weinsteins. I get it. It's a little bit older, but you know, if you can get past that, you get a truly great slasher movie. The characters are hilarious and somewhat creepy. I feel like besides the slasher killer in this movie, the real suspects in this movie are the men. The boys in this movie are absolutely unhinged characters. It's quite of its time in some aspects, but they get their kind of just dues, and you kind of enjoy seeing that. Also, it's edited by Jack Shoulder from Nightmare on Elm Street fame, as well as from Alone in the Dark and The Hidden. If you like those movies, he edited this movie and honestly did a great job with it. This is a really fun, good movie to watch. It's not as, I would say, as iconic maybe as something like Sleepaway Camp in terms of it has that kind of vibe to it. I feel like this was kind of like a response to it, but I think the directors had claimed that this was before all that, but it doesn't get enough recognition as it does. And I'm here to say that this movie's great. I would recommend upgrading to the 4K because though this Arrow Blu-ray is good, it can look a lot better, and I think that 4K will make it pop a little bit more. So I will recommend you upgrade it if you don't own it yet. However, this is still a great pickup. This is a great movie. I can see myself revisiting this often, and it's in the camp. It's in the hot summer. You see people sweating. It's just a great time. You get some good kills, and there's canoeing and kayaking, which I'm a big sucker for. Totally gives me the summer vibes, and there's a great twist before the killer dies that I recommend you stay for. Coming out next, of course, it's not a summer slasher movie unless I talk about this icon. And I know I said I'm trying not to talk about so many icons of horror, but I gotta talk about Jason. I gotta talk about Friday the 13th. And for me, the most summer aspect of them all is Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. I really like this movie. It's an easy watch. If I'm also giving another summer vibe, I might throw in 3. I do, though I don't love 3, it does give me that big summer vibe, but I do recommend as well, Jason Lives. This is such a good movie. This is such a fun time. It's debatably one of its most iconic as well. What more can be said? That Jason lives. He rises from the dead to start his killing spree at Crystal Lake. And I just can't. I don't want to talk about it enough. It's Friday the 13th. It's a slasher movie. Kids go out, or teenagers go out. They do their thing, and Jason does his, and it's a great time. This is one of the fastest Friday the 13th movies because I do genuinely enjoy it. It's a great movie, so check this one out. And finally, what better way to kiss summer goodbye with one of the most iconic camping slasher movies? And it's barely a slasher, more that's just a horror movie, but I love this movie so much. And if you haven't seen it, don't spoil the ending for anyone because it's crazy. And if you have seen it, I'm sure you're gonna love it. It's a great rewatch movie. Sleepaway Camp. Starring Felissa Rose, who is so iconic now. I actually have her autograph on this as well. She's super sweet. If you can ever get to meet her, please do. She's a great person, and I love her in this movie playing Angela. So Angela and her brother witnessed an accident, and now that her and her cousin have to go to a summer camp, and some things happen, some crazy stuff. So there are some moments in this movie that are just absolutely batshit crazy, and I absolutely love it. I think this has some of the most outrageous cursing from teenagers in a movie, and some of the most creative kills as well. I really like Sleepaway Camp. It has some iconic lines and characters, and it's just one of those movies that it's the summertime. When I'm watching Sleepaway Camp, I feel like I'm in the summer. The short shorts, the going swimming, the canoeing, the kayaking, the playing pranks, hanging out with your friends, all that great stuff. I get that with Sleepaway Camp. And honestly, if you watch Sleepaway Camp 2, you probably get that even more. But yeah, I at number one, I got to talk about Sleepaway Camp. And if you haven't seen it, please check this movie out before you start going into your fall vibes. Send summer off properly and watch Sleepaway Camp. And watch any of these summer slasher movies. What are some of your summer movies that you like to watch? Summer horror. Is it maybe not slasher? But for me, I always think summer is the time of slashers. So let me know if there's any I missed down below in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And I am excited to come back and talk more movies, especially leading up to October. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay locked in, tap in. Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Chris here at Figure Out Films. And remember, if you are not watching slasher movies, do you really care about cinema? Other than that, I'll see you next time.